What's up, my beautiful Rosebrew Maniac here, filling out a NCAA March Madness bracket live, just to see what you guys might think. Now, I have it here because every time we finish a region, we're gonna simulate through a round of the playoff seedings just to be fun, spark it out. We got number 1 Duke versus the number 16 seed, which they will have to play in. It's between NDS and NCC. This one, I'm gonna have to pick Duke. Although I do believe Duke will be eventually upset in the tournament, I don't believe it will come first round. Then we have VCU versus UCF. I was a huge fan of UCF for the last 2 seasons in football. It would be nice to see their basketball team have some success as well. I do think these two teams are pretty evenly matched. Haven't really faced the same level of competition. I'm still going to pick UCF in this one. One reason being is I would kind of like them to see them play Duke a little bit more than VCU, just because although VCU I think is a solid team, I think they would get a little bit more steamrolled over by Duke. Then you got Mississippi State at Liberty. I actually like Liberty in the upset in this one, but I'm going to pick Mississippi State, mainly because although I do like Liberty in the upset, I don't think they have the edge. I think they'll keep it close most of the game, but Mississippi State, they're a tough team. They play for the full game, and I think that's going to be the advantage there. Then you got Virginia Tech at St. Louis. I believe almost every year there's a 12 who beats a 5 or a 13 that beats a 4, but I'm going to pick Virginia Tech. I like the idea of picking St. Louis, but I don't think they have enough quality wins for me to feel comfortable picking them, although I wouldn't mind picking them. And then you have Maryland versus the winner of, I think, Belmont or Temple. I'm not sure exactly what those abbreviations are. I'm going to pick Maryland here. I like the Maryland basketball team. They might not be one of the best teams in the nation. They are 6th seed, but I still think they are tough enough to at least win a first one. I think with this one, and one thing I always say when I do tournament bracket challenges or whatever is I don't get why 11th seeds play in. If you are good enough to be an 11th seed, you should automatically qualify. Like the two teams that are playing for the 11th seed, the second team should get the 12th seed, and it should be playoff for the 16 seeds. All 16 seeds. That's all it should be. That's what I think. But I'm going to pick Maryland there. You got LSU versus Yale. I'm picking LSU. Yale, I just don't think they have enough. Louisville, Minnesota. I'm actually picking Minnesota in the upset here because I like to pick some upsets because obviously upsets are going to happen, so it's about guessing which ones accurately happen. Bradley, I believe this is their first tournament since 2006, but I'm picking Michigan State here, and you'll see why towards the end of the video. And then we go to the West. We go to the West, and it starts with Gonzaga versus the 16th seed play-in. I'm going to pick Gonzaga there easily. Syracuse, Baylor. I like the orange here, but look for Baylor to potentially upset them for sure. Because 8th and 9th, I don't think it's really technically an upset. I think those are usually about 50-50. Then you have Marquette versus Murray State. Murray State has had some quality games this year, but I think Marquette will be a little bit too much for them. Then you have Florida State versus Vermont. Florida State, same thing. Vermont has had some good games, but I still think Florida State's just too much. Buffalo versus Arizona State or San Jose University, I believe. I'm still picking Buffalo there. Although Buffalo being a 6 seed, I think is already a very successful season for them. And you got Texas Tech versus North Kentucky. I'm picking Texas Tech there. Nevada, Florida. I'm picking. Now I gotta think about that for a second, because do I want to pick the upset in Florida or do I want to pick Nevada? I'm actually gonna pick Nevada because I've recently grown to hate Florida. Normally I'd pick Florida in the upset in this matchup, but I just don't like them. And you got Michigan at the 2 seed versus Montana. I'm picking Michigan all the way. Gardner-Webb facing the 1 seed Virginia. If they could upset them, that would be amazing. Ole Miss, Oklahoma. I'm picking Oklahoma at the 9 seed there. Wisconsin, Oregon. Gotta pick Wisconsin all the way. Kansas State versus UC Irvine. A very interesting matchup there. I'm looking for Irvine to make it a tough game, but I still think Kansas State pulls away at the end. Villanova versus St. Mary's. I like Villanova. 3 straight conference titles. Good accomplishment for them. Purdue Old Dominion. Although Old Dominion is a possible upset candidate, I do think Purdue is a little bit too tough. Cincinnati, Iowa. I'm going to pick Iowa in the upset here. One reason being, I like what Iowa's done this year, and when I pick upsets, I like to pick upsets for the teams like the higher seeds, like the 7th seed Cincinnati, who I believe are going to be more prone to struggling in the tournament over, let's say, a Tennessee, where, yeah, they might struggle, but they're less likely to. So I'm going to pick Iowa to win there. Then you get Tennessee at Colgate, and I think Colgate is going to get flossed in this one. I think it's going to be one of the biggest blowouts in the first round. North Carolina, Iona. I think Iona does put up a little bit of competition to start, but Carolina should pull away about halfway through the first. And then you got Utah State versus Washington. I'm going Washington in this one. Auburn, New Mexico State. I'm definitely going New Mexico. Then you got Kansas at Northeastern. I'm going to pick Northeastern in the upset here. One reason being is every time I turn on a Kansas game, or every time I even look at a Kansas game, they're playing horrible. And I got to pick a couple upsets here to spice things up. Another reason being is even if Kansas beats Northeastern, I do not see them beating Auburn in the next round. You got Iowa State versus Ohio State. I'm picking Ohio State there. Houston versus Georgia State. I'm picking Houston. Wofford versus Seton Hall. I'm picking Seton Hall there. And Kentucky versus Abil Christian. I'm going Kentucky. So that's the first round. And then you have the round of 32. You have Duke at UCF. I'm going Duke. Mississippi State versus Virginia Tech. I am actually going to go Mississippi State here. Then you got Maryland at LSU. I'm going Maryland. No, actually, I'm going to go LSU there. Then you got Minnesota at Michigan State. I think Michigan State wins that one. Gonzaga, Syracuse. Syracuse, although they are a good team, I think they would struggle against a matchup like Gonzaga. Marquette versus Florida State. I'm going to go Marquette there. Buffalo versus Texas Tech. Buffalo making it to the round of 32. Good season for them, but Texas Tech I think will be just too much. Michigan hosting Nevada. I think Michigan wins that one. Virginia, Oklahoma. Virginia earned a number 1 seed, and they're going to show why. Wisconsin, Kansas State. I think Wisconsin rolls to the round of 16 or Sweet 16. Villanova, Purdue. I think Villanova upsets Purdue, if you can call it an upset. I think Villanova is a solid team. Not as good as the last couple of years, but still pretty solid. Tennessee, Iowa. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think Iowa's, Cinderella story, if you can call it that, ends there. North Carolina, Washington. I think North Carolina wins that one. Auburn, Northeastern. Auburn wins that one as well. Ohio State versus Houston. I'm actually picking Ohio State in the upset. And for me, Kentucky over Seton Hall. That makes Iowa State the only double-digit seed that I have making it to the Sweet 16. And then in the Sweet 16, you have Duke versus Mississippi State. I'm picking Duke in that one. LSU, Michigan State, picking Michigan State. Gonzaga versus Marquette. Sorry, Marquette, I don't think you win. Texas Tech versus Michigan. I'm picking Texas Tech in that one. So that would eliminate already one of the 2 seeds, which is kind of fun. Then you have Virginia at Wisconsin. I think Virginia wins that one. Tennessee is a solid team. They've been solid all year. I think they beat Villanova. Auburn versus North Carolina. I gotta pick North Carolina there. Kentucky versus Ohio State. I am going to go Ohio State in this one, making it to the Elite Eight. And then going into the Elite Eight, Duke. This is a matchup where I think Duke's 3-point shooting cost them. I'm gonna go Michigan State upsetting Duke. Gonzaga versus Texas Tech. I'm actually gonna go Texas Tech over Gonzaga as well. I think Texas Tech is physical enough to provide or to take advantage of opportunities when needed. Granted, I don't think Gonzaga will fumble a lot. I think they will be relatively poised, but I think Texas Tech does definitely pull up the upset. Then you got Virginia at Tennessee. I'm going to pick Virginia to win here, and then I'm going to pick Ohio State's run to end against North Carolina, making the Final Four. Michigan State, Texas Tech, and then Virginia and North Carolina. For this one, I'm going to pick Texas Tech to upset Michigan State, and I'm going to pick Virginia to beat North Carolina, leaving a Texas Tech Virginia national championship. Probably almost no one else has Texas Tech and Virginia in the championship. And to make my bracket even more unique, I am going Texas Tech as the NCAA champions with a score of 64 to 63. And then we submit our bracket into the ESPN Tournament Challenge, and that's how it goes. I recommend you guys make a bracket or two as well. It should be fun. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. I will see you in the next one. Peace. Enjoy March Madness, and let's go.